Hi, I'm Yasmin Vasugian, Gallup's World Poll Correspondent. I'm here with Dr. Huda from the United States Institute of Peace. Thank you so much for talking to us today, Dr. Huda.
Thank you for having me.
So I just want to sort of start straight off. Do you feel it's hard to be a Muslim in America today?
Well, I think there's definitely a lot of challenges depending on how you assert your religious identity, or maybe you're not asserting your religious identity. So I won't say it's hard in the sense that one cannot practice. In many ways, it's easy to practice religion. But there are definitely challenges after the post 9/11 world.
In October 2006, you wrote that for many in the Muslim world, nonviolent resistance is associated with Christian tradition, and some view it as a passive and ineffective method in contesting oppression. So it sounds to me like you were implying that the some that you were referring to believe violence is the only way to resolve conflict. Is this what you were saying in that quote?
What I'm saying is that there's a big debate, not only within the Muslim world, but in the larger world, of what social change what's the best way for social change and social movements. Clearly, the extremists think that violence is the best way. Clearly, there's more people who believe nonviolence is the best way in changing and working towards a system, political parties, campaigns, through constitutional changes and reform. But the concept of nonviolence is not a strange or a concept that's alien to the tradition or to Muslims. What I'm suggesting is that the movement of extremism and the power of terrorism has dampened that debate.
Gallup conducted a poll in July 2006, and they found that 34% of Americans think Muslims are sympathetic to Al-Qaeda. And it seems to me like with words like jihad and martyrdom that help define Islam, how can we blame the public for thinking this?
Well, to me, I think the problem is words that have come from Arabic or from Persian or Urdu coming into an American lexicon is very problematic, and how it's used, its narrow interpretation. I think that's a big issue. Yes, those particular words are there, but to then say that these words define purely American Muslims or all Muslims, and this is their basic creed of their faith and their mission in life, is a great deal of exaggeration, and so I think that's very problematic.
Over half of Americans think that being respectful towards women does not apply to Islam. How would a Muslim respond to that?
When we have a poll that says Islam doesn't treat women fairly, that is a sense, reflects a sense of their own understanding of Islam. And the only way to correct that is to have a corrective measure by American Muslims to have a real educational effort.
Another big number that I saw in that Gallup poll said that 39% of Americans were in favor of Muslims, whether it be American Muslims or Muslims just living here, should carry special identification cards.
I think that clearly we're living in a post 9/11 world. The country was attacked. There's a fear still very tangible and very real. So in that world, people are finding natural ways to identify threats. And so the cards, identification cards, is a way to identify threats and to contain it and make sure it doesn't happen again. So I think it's a natural reaction. What I think they don't realize is that you will have constitutional problems, you will have real problems of resentment, and we should learn from our recent history that when you isolate one particular group, just like we did in World War II with Japanese Americans, you will create a great deal of resentment and really bad relationships between the two communities. And I think there has to be a careful, responsible way of finding potential terrorists.
How can Muslims and non-Muslims coexist peacefully, whether it be in the United States, around the world, in Europe?
They need to build bridges. This is all about building bridges. So with groups that are open to them. But American Muslims are also facing real groups that despise them, that are antagonistic, that are trying to reduce their faith and religion to terrorism and labeling anything Islamic Islamofascism. So they need to be more savvy and articulate in responding to them quickly and forcefully, and be politicians and get elected and become state senators as well as senators and get on the Hill. So I think those are the things they need to do.
Thank you so much, Dr. Huda. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.